they asked me if I wanted to do a hotel room and explain the whole project, the different artists doing different rooms, and I went down, met them, really got on with them, loved what they were doing and said yeah. I think it was the fact that I've spent a lot of time over the years in hotels, particularly in Britain, and had really bad experiences, really bad experiences, paid a fortune to be sort of basically treated like dirt. And I just loved the attitude they had. I particularly liked the fact that they were aiming and keeping the prices really reasonable. And I loved the fact that when me and Michael arrived, there was big vans outside and all the old interiors and furniture and trimmings from the hotel were being loaded in the van and given to the homeless in Brighton, which I thought was really good. But I thought with the Pelirocco, I wanted to make it really bright and friendly and cheerful. And I'm sort of sick of I mean, it's bugged me in this country a lot getting pigeonholed because I'm really well known for work I did with the Sex Pistols. But I mean, it's only one element of my work, and I wanted to do a room which wasn't in one style. So there's a sort of big punk edge to it, there's an esoteric edge to it, I think there's a real play, pop art sort of edge to it, where me and Michael actually used a lot of stuff. You know, all the tacky sort of souvenir shops you get on the front with postcards and sort of buckets full of pebbles and all sorts of different things. So I was trying to combine a lot of different styles in it, but I wanted it to be really friendly and really bright, but have an edge to it as well. In a funny sort of way, although punk's been so mythologised, it never went away. I mean, I carried on. I mean, I still do a lot of work in that vein and that spirit, which is very political and agitprop, as well as the esoteric stuff. Like a whole lot of work I've done right the way through the sort of whole situation with the poll tax, No Clause 28, criminal justice bill. It's tended to be very spontaneous, but I mean, we painted, we took the doors off, did a lot of sort of spill like Jackson Pollock painting on the doors, did a lot of screen printing. We actually reused the furniture that was existing there and sort of painted that and screen printed on it. Found things locally, and it was pretty spontaneous. But I mean, most of the work I tend to do is, it's not with the work we're doing in the strong room. I think it's really important that you can actually make spaces fun and creative and vibrant, whereas most sort of hotels or workspaces or sort of redevelopments that go on tend to be very enslaving. It's like, it's quite, you know, it's little things, but they're quite sort of philosophically important. There's sort of big changes. I got into the whole architecture and interior thing anyway through a whole series of really large paintings I was doing about 15 years ago. And I just think it's so much nicer than going to a gallery, even though they are improving a little bit, which is so sort of hallowed and quiet and sort of full of pretentious shit. And I just think it's so nice to be able to create real living spaces that people actually work in or sort of stay in. It's like having a whole, it's like being able to sleep in the gallery, you know, it's just really nice, I like that. It's just moving art out of elite situations and putting them into everyday situations which people can actually experience and enjoy. I think there's a lot of things. There's the humour. I think it's just a place we could lie in bed and sort of look and keep seeing things, and it was sort of stimulating. And funnily enough, telling you earlier about the strong room, we had actually booked it to have the sort of Christmas out in there, and I actually ended up staying in my own room, which was quite funny. So I mean, and I quite enjoyed it actually. So I sort of experienced it as a punter as well. So far, the response has been fabulous. From what Mick and Jane are saying, people really love it, and a lot of people want to come back and book it, and they haven't had loads of money to actually spend on the sort of advertising, but they've had really good press responses, and loads of people who stay there recommend it to other people on the word of mouth level. So I mean, you know, it's been really successful.